Hey, hey. All things hurt. All things hurt. She's the wife. Welcome to Bold University. I am lifestyle coach Latoya, and I got something to say today. Woo, listen to the vibe with me, ladies. Hey, y'all know I like to dance, right? All things hurt. Reset for women, ladies. Bold University. All right, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. All right, ladies. Yes, 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 yes. This is your very own lifestyle coach Latoya, the founder of Bold University. And we're going to get bold today because I got someone very special. So if you are watching, you want to make sure that you're sharing our live broadcast here at Bold University, Reset for Women. Yes, we are getting excited here at Bold University. And I have this amazing guest. And she's going to be coming on very soon. And we're going to be talking, ladies, about organizing our life. Oh my goodness, with Janet Taylor here, and a great, great, great woman. As a person in general, a great expert in organizational expert / consultant. She has worked with notable individuals such as Les Brown, some of the names to just throw it out there. She's been on radio station, TV, you name it. Janet Taylor is making an impact in her community in Philadelphia and so much places in the world. And I'm just so excited to have her to be a part of the platform here at Bold University, where we are redefining what does the total woman lifestyle look like. We are focusing on faith, lifestyle, and business. Not only that, ladies, we're focusing on beauty, balance, and the body. Yes, I'm excited because my true passion here is to continue to build a team out called the Reset for Life team. Yes, we help individuals get their body back in formation, their mind and their soul, getting aligned to the will of God. But not only that, ladies, we're not just about spiritual development, but we're about personal development. And so I'm going to be bringing on my guest today here, Janet Taylor. I want you to put your hands together for virtual clapping for Janet Taylor as she come and join me today. Hey, oh my goodness. Hey, Miss Taylor.
Hello, Latoya. How are you, Latoya?
Welcome to the Bold University LLC, and your very own lifestyle coach Latoya is here with Janet Taylor, and we're going to be talking about organization. Oh my gosh, ladies, this is the time that we can always get a time to reset our lives, because guess what? We're in quarantine, right? And you're locked up and you're bored in the house. So what are you doing? So I hope you're organizing, but you're going to get some skills, some strategies from this amazing woman, and Janet Taylor is here to help you get organized, declutter, and get better at living your best life now. And so, Janet Taylor, when I was just getting ready with you, I started doing some research, and I thank you about a few years ago that you did bring me on your show. And I appreciate that at the time. And we talked about my wellness life. And for those who are watching, I have always, been was not always passionate about wellness, but she brought me on and we're talking about how to live better. And so today I wanted to bring her on because I know she's going to get us back in formation. She's going to get us back in order, and she's going to get us back into the place of where we can now organize our work, our offices, and our minds and everything, because organization plays a big part of everyday living. So Janet Taylor, I want you to tell our guests how did you get started with your business? Like, what inspired you to start Total Organize, your organization LLC? What inspired you, and how did you came about with this idea?
Well, I started the business because it was a layoff. Basically, I was working for a company I enjoyed. Another company came in and took the contract over for the project. And after interviews, et cetera, I was not selected. So during that process, I discovered just from my coworkers that I was always the one they came to when they couldn't find stuff.
Wow.
And after doing a little bit of more research, I found out there was a local chapter of organizers. There was a national chapter of organizers. And I decided to, because I was still, thank God, living at home, that I decided to start my business. And I started it part time. And then a
Wow.
year later, I did it full time. So it was basically a layoff and just having a career change.
Wow. So, wow. And I think a lot of us ladies get into that where even right now, I think a lot of us have even developed business right now, sitting home and wondering, what am I good at? What are some talents that I can tap into? And I think you did such a great job. And I think today now you're living your best life. I think you have gotten the privilege to work with Les Brown and those great name and government educational. Like you are such a superwoman, but I know that you have kept your life in order because you believe an organization. So I want you to talk about us as ladies and how we can start adopting those skills. You know, a lot of us at the house, we got the cutest heels that we're not wearing. We got the office that we don't even use paperwork, you know, the same paperwork for the last 5, 10 years that we're looking at. So how can we get rid of clutter? That's what I'm trying to say. How can we get rid of clutter? Because sometimes it's an emotional thing for some people. It's really serious. And I think sometimes we don't take the seriousness a part of that because we think it's just, oh, just stuff. So how can we get rid of the stuff and get organized and get acclimated to a better life?
Well, I think first you need to really think about what is causing you the most stress. Is it when you come home and you see all the stuff by the front door? Is it when you go in your bedroom? Is it the closet? Or it could be the kitchen because maybe you have decided to change your life, eat a little healthier, maybe cook more meals at home, but you get frustrated every time you go in the cabinets. So that's the first thing is figure out what causes you stress. Once you do that, then you have to figure out maybe a system that will work for you. For example, I know a lot of us now, especially with everything going on in the world, we take our shoes off as soon as we come home. So maybe
Yeah.
it'd be something as simple as just putting a shoe rack by the door.
Oh,
Or a lot of times, yes.
taking notes,
Or
y'all.
sometimes it may be a shoe rack here. Or,
Yeah.
it could be a hook just so you can find your keys. Or it could be, maybe, you come home after a long day's work or even just working around the home, doing homeschooling, walking the dog, taking care of everybody. And you want to be able to have a place that's your own. So that could be your bedroom. So then maybe you can create that haven by just actually making sure that you put clothes away. You actually, clear off that dresser or
Wow.
maybe create some systems so that when you do go in that closet and you fit something, try something on and it doesn't fit, then you have either a box, a bag, so you can put it in there. When it gets full, you take it out and when you can do donations again. So sometimes it's setting up things like that, or even in the kitchen just going in, getting rid of stuff that you don't need, maybe donating it to family, friends who do still eat that type of food, but getting out and then really restocking and starting over, because not only does that help you when you can find stuff the first time you look, but also economically it can help you too,
Mm.
because you may be going out and buying stuff that you already own.
Wow. Wow. So I know that there's some ladies that's watching, you know, we're talking about organization as a whole and organized living with you, Janet Taylor. What are some things that ladies can do who have business? What about our process and our systems in place when you have the clientele, especially starting an at-home business and you got stuff all over. You don't even know how you track your clients. Things are in the computer. Like, what are some starting tips that you can give us today to start getting organized?
Well, I know that a lot of people now really do things more electronically and try to have paperless.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing really is creating a file for your clients, electronic files. So just having a folder that says clients, and then within that folder, creating a folder for each client and putting all that paperwork in there. Also having a folder for finances. So, and then having, if you have separate bank accounts, if you have different types of reports that you generate, if you do expenses, expense reports to yourself, making sure you have those folders in there so that when you need that information, you can access it. And then also, even when you scan information, making sure you scan it and put it where it needs to go, not just on the drive or in that little, where all of the things are, the downloads. So that's for
Yes.
the electronic files. But then also in regards to, because email can become overwhelming too.
Yes, that's
So
true.
sometimes you may even want to create folders for emails.
For
I have
email.
folders like, for example, when you contacted me and you said you wanted me to be on your program, I
Yeah.
actually have a folder that I put all of those in so that when
Wow.
I have to go back and refer and make sure I have the link right, I have the time right, I don't have to kind of go through all my emails. I can just go to that folder and I'm like, oh, here's my email from Latoya, and these are all the instructions. I do
Wow.
that, So those are some things you can do as well. And even when you work, like I know you work with a team, you can either have a team folder or because you're working on specific projects, or you can have a folder for each person on the team so that when you communicate back and forth, you're not constantly trying to figure out, wait a minute, when was the last email? Where was the updates? Things like that.
Love that.
So, and
I
then
need
also
that.
just making sure that that you schedule time periodically to go through and delete. Get rid of the junk emails. Also check your junk emails because sometimes things get in there by accident, but also delete. So that's for the computer stuff. But now for the physical stuff. Just making sure that you have files and your physical files can actually match your computer files. So if you have bank information,
Mhm.
you may want to have a bank file, client files, because sometimes you may need to have physical documents, but also just making sure that you at least keep your files at least 2 years current. So for example, you should have 2020 and 2000 maybe 19 in your files. Everything else can be archived or possibly you can shred it and get rid of it. And I always tell people, specifically business women and just in your personal life, talk to the person who does your taxes, your legal counsel, and say, how long do I need to keep stuff? Because a couple of years ago, I hired a woman-owned firm to actually help me with my taxes, et cetera. And I said, okay, I've been in business for 20 something years, and I'm going to tell you, and I'm telling your listeners and your viewers that I actually had a lot of my tax information. She said, Janet, you don't need to keep all of that stuff. Get rid of it. So
Wow.
sometimes you need that person who is the expert to tell you it's okay to let go. And of course, there's a lot of different charts and guides on the internet to tell you how long you need to keep stuff. But I can tell everybody watching and listening that you do not need to keep 20 years worth of pay stuff. Now, if you want to keep 20 years worth of those W-2s that you get at the end of the year, that's fine. But 20 years worth of pay stubs, you can kind of let go. And also manuals to equipment you no longer own, you can let go of that too. But also just kind of discipline yourself to have a system for incoming paper. You can use trays, but also making sure you clear the workspace at the end of the day. So take that few minutes because then when you come in, whether you have a home office or just a space in your home, you can really come in and focus on what you need to do and not have to clean up. Every time you hit your desk, it's like, okay, before I work, I got to clear the piles. And by then, your flow of what you want to do for that day is kind of broken. You want to be in a flow when you come into your workspace and, okay, this is what I need to do, boom, boom, not have to clean up from something you did before. And that works too for people who do DIY projects, craft projects too. Clear up, once everything's dried up, but clear up so you can have a clear space when you come in.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is so impactful for me today too. But Janet, what I'm finding is that a lot of time we are complaining that we don't have time. So is that an excuse or is it something that we really don't want to do? Like, is it something that we feel like we need to hire someone like you to come in because your goal is not where you come in as a cleaner. How do you decide what you really need? Do you need a cleaner? Do you need an organizer? How do you decide what is it that you really need as a woman to continue to build that organizational skills?
Well, I have clients who use both. And actually, I have one client in particular who calls me in before the cleaners. Because a lot of times people feel they need to clean first. But in this particular situation, because, she traveled a lot, before everything was going on. So when she would come home, she would have weeks and weeks of mail. And what she found with the cleaning company, which is, what they do is they basically would take everything, put it in a pile, and then for her to deal with. But
Okay.
I would, when I came in, is I would basically go through everything, sort, make sure all of her bills, give her all of her bills and whatever. And we would go through that process, which would take, a few hours, not a lot. And therefore, when the cleaners came, they could clean. They could get into nooks and crannies. They didn't have to worry about
Mm,
pushing stuff in piles
yeah.
aside. They could really do a good, deep cleaning. So sometimes, but I think for women, it saves you time because it only took us maybe it usually takes us, when I come in, because of her travel, usually do a 3-hour session and I'm done. Then the cleaners can come in. So she's not spending hours and hours, because when I come in, and I've been working with her for so long, is after she's done her months of travel, I know how to organize her bills and all her travel stuff and all the miscellaneous junk mail. And I have her piles, and she sits on the sofa and she just goes through, and she can just go through, pay her bills, get rid of stuff. She's like, I don't know why I can't do this when you're not around, but I'm like that motivator for her. So, and then the cleaning company just come in and they can do what they need. So yes, and it also saves you time, because sometimes when we I know Miss Wilkins.
Okay. So she
Sometimes
has a question.
when
She
we
has
are attached to, yeah, I saw her question. So I just wanted to finish it. Sometimes when we're attached to stuff, it's harder for us to get rid of it. So what was Miss Wilkins' question?
Yeah, so she wants to know, what should one do if a client has projects around? I believe several projects around them. I want to make sure, Miss Wickens, if that's the correct question I'm asking.
Wilkins, Miss Wilkins?
Yeah, if that's the correct question. If not, just rephrase it again, and so I can kind of. I think she auto corrects a question, so we want to make sure. Several. So, what should one do if a client has several projects around? What are some skills and some things, some
So
tips?
several.
Several projects opening up. I'm thinking maybe you can't finish it or something like that. Maybe, hopefully, we're answering her question correctly. So, several
Okay,
projects.
so if she's got several different projects she's working on at one time, and just how to, so basically you kind of look at each project and see how long it would take you to finish. If one
Okay.
project, I'm just guessing, may take you 30 minutes to finish, but another project may take you a couple hours, then try to get the one that's going to take you the least time, get it finished, get it done, and then get it out the way. So then you can spend more time on the next one. But I would also suggest that you plan everything too, because the statistic says that if we take 15 minutes at the end of the day and plan, and it, before, planning what you're going to wear, planning what you're going to take out the door the next day, you save yourself an hour. And if you plan for an hour, you save yourself 4. So if you plan,
Wow.
so sit down and plan. Like, okay,
Yeah.
this is my project. I need to spend about 30 minutes on it. This is everything that I need to do. Put it in your calendar, schedule and block that time. And of course, with technology now, we can look in our caller ID, and people can text us. So we don't necessarily have to stop what we're doing unless it's an emergency. So hopefully that answered her question. But yeah, definitely, like, plan out the different times that it will take for you to do the things, and then try to get the one that doesn't take as much time done first, and just keep moving through those projects. And then also think about your energy level too, because I think sometimes we don't take that into consideration. Like, I'm a morning person. I can get up at 3,
Mhm.
4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm full of energy. But then
Yeah,
you get
me
me at
too.
7, 8 o'clock at night, it's like, no. But then some people are night owls. So take that into consideration, because you may have all the energy in the world to clean your closet out at 1 o'clock in the morning, do it. But me, I would probably be in my closet at 4 o'clock in the morning. So work with that energy level.
Mm, wow. Wow, great information. Oh my goodness. I hope you guys are taking away some great pointers. So you can definitely be asking some questions. You're here with our organizer, expert slash consultant, Janet Taylor. She have joined us here at Bold University. If you have any question concerning your business, home, life, office, this is the time. We got a few more minutes to wrap up our conversation. But while we're wrapping up and individuals are coming in and asking questions, Janet, I wanted to ask you a question about now that we as some women have felt so we get really comfortable in organizing our life, because I'm very big on organization, because that was the very thing that helped me lose over almost 50 pounds. On top of that, it helped me start organizing my mind, my exercise, everything, meal planning. It really became an reprogramming my brain. So what about, we're in a digital savvy world that everyone wants to use technology, and I use technology a little bit too if I'm trying to get client on my phone, or quick events. But this is my go-to, my planner as well, because I realized that I did a segment on planning and how essential that is. That I realized that even when you start breaking down your life, it is really a brain pattern that you're creating. Not only that, you're beginning to balance your brain a little bit better. So what do you say for individuals? Should we put that in our planner to organize our closet? How can we break up all these things that we got to do in the house? Like, should we have a day for a kitchen, microwave? Like, what can we do to start beginning that regimen, to start building that habit? Because habit is something that we really have to reprogram to make it better.
Well, I definitely think you should plan. But I think you should you should sit down first and plan. So, for example, let's take the closet. So you want to organize your closet. So
Okay.
you put the closet. But then the next thing you want to do is you need to figure out what you need to do. Do you need your shoes? You need to do your handbags? Do you need to do hats, accessories, etc.? And then start grouping and taking each one of those. And then maybe scheduling a couple hours just to focus on it. So not get the overwhelm.
Mhm.
Because maybe one day you just want to do your shoes, which means you want to you take your shoes out, you try them on, you look at them, you decide which ones you want to keep, donate, etc. And then figure out how you want to organize them. So you first want to, decide on the area, decide, what needs to be done, purge first, purge before you purchase. Purge before you purchase. Do
I
not go
love
out
that.
there and buy all these organizing products, because what happens is you buy all those products, you start purging, and then you realize,
Yeah, you're right.
oh, I don't need all this stuff. So, and then once you decide, what you want to keep and everything, then figure out what works for you in regards to systems. So when I was in my 20s, shoe boxes, I love shoe boxes. Oh, I just had to have all shoe boxes. But now that I am pushing 60, I need to see my stuff. So I need a different system. So think, but
Mm,
and always, ladies, think about that. As you transition through life, your system is going
wow.
to change, and that is okay. And then also think of your stuff too, because what happens is what you liked in your 20s, when you get older, you're not going to want. There was one time, Latoya, I had like at least 5 or 6 pair of white shoes. Now, why? Now I think back, why? I could have put that in
Yeah.
investments, but that's another segment.
Yeah.
But, think about that, because I'm
You're
working
right.
with a client. I was working with a client, and she retired. So
Okay.
she retired. She's single. She's going to enjoy retirement. She does not need the suits that she was wearing when she was working. She doesn't need the
Whoa.
suits and all those, because she was like, oh, Janet, this fits good. And I says, why? Why? You don't need it. You got beautiful dresses. You got vibrant tops. You got all those beautiful clothes. You don't need those dull suits anymore. You're not a principal anymore. So and then she realized, she's like, so that opened up space. So just think about that. When you transition through life, you're single. Then you go from single to maybe married. You go from married to kids. So you
Mhm.
go through all those transitions. So think about your stuff in your home, but also the stuff in your closet, ladies. Let go, let go. It took me till I was 30 to let go of my prom dress, but I finally let it go. So just let it go. Because they say, statistics says 80% of the stuff we keep, we never reference again.
Say
And
that
I know we
again.
don't have a lot of time,
Say
but I
that
do.
again.
80%. 80% of the stuff. Think about all the stuff, all the the pieces of information you decide to keep just in case. But
Mm,
one of the things I do want to say is that with there is a purpose for storage units, because sometimes you may
mm,
be transitioning to a different place, a different home. You may be doing renovations. There may be all different reasons why you need storage. But when you have stuff in storage that you
mm,
no longer need and no longer use, Think about the money you are putting out every single month for stuff you will never ever use again. So this is a time when you need to reevaluate your budget and think, am I wasting money on something that I used to have in an apartment 20 years ago that I will never use again, like a soap dispenser or a toothbrush holder? And I'm only saying that because I know somebody who actually did that. They had stuff in their storage unit from their single days, and they had been married at least 15 years. So
Wow.
let's get rid of stuff. Let's eliminate stuff.
Wow.
But
Yes,
yeah,
lady.
80%, 80% of the stuff.
80%.
And we wear 20% of our clothes 80% of the time.
Mm,
Think about it. We all got the favorite sneakers, the favorite jeans, the favorite top, the favorite coat.
wow. You're
We all
absolutely
have stuff, and I do. I got stuff in my closet with a price tag on it. I'm gonna raise my hand. I will confess to all of you today. But we all do it. But that's just to get you to really think about all the stuff in your life.
wow. So what another question as we wrap up, what are some things that, those individuals who are watching, even in this time that a lot of us, are out of work, unfortunately, we're in COVID-19 and the things are getting, what are some ways for them to reset their closet, reset their home, get a new fragrance? They might want to upgrade a little bit. What about those old furnitures that's been there for 25 years? Or, some of us, we shop at the Goodwill, some of us shop certain places, and so what are some things that why is it so important to attract? One of the things that you talked about is that you help client attract happiness and money. And how is that attached to space for you? Like, what do you find with that in saying that if I have a clear space, does that bring me new attraction? What is that component of what you've seen with the clients that you've worked in the past with?
Well, space really helps you. It's like a cycle. You bring something, when you bring something new in, you want to get rid of something old. And I know during these times, everybody's looking at their budget. So I
Yeah.
always tell people, look at some of the things you have. First of all, think about all the stuff that you have that you like. I'm tired of looking at this. So maybe there's somebody else who could use it. And I know sometimes, it's right now it might be a little bit challenging to kind of donate stuff. But I know in my community, basically what people do is they put it outside, put a sign on it and say free.
Yeah.
But begin to just look at your space differently. Begin to look at your stuff differently. Begin to repurpose. That's why I tell people, do not go out and buy a lot of different organizing containers and things. Because sometimes when you start clearing out stuff, you already have everything. I use you know, pencil. I use like toothbrush holders for pencil cups. I
Wow.
use spice jars to put different little paper clip things in, candy jars for clips. Um, you know, I actually even, use sometimes the old food storage containers. I put some of my little tools or hooks in. So there's so many different things you can do just to repurpose a lot of the things in your home as well as in your life. But just begin to look, just begin to, because what you always want to do is you always want to have room for more. You always want to, one, have a welcoming home. I mean, I know that right now we can't have a lot of people in our home except for the people that live there, but you want to be able to get in your bed and just relax, not have to push the clothes aside, the books aside. You want to create an
Yeah.
environment in your bedroom that helps you rejuvenate, helps you relax, help you restore, help you reset. And you can't do that surrounded by clutter. So it may be getting some bookshelves or, looking at giving some books away that you've already read so you can make room for the books that you want to keep.
It's
It
also
may be clearing the dresser of all the stuff that you really don't need, the jewelry. I mean, we could, I mean, between the jewelry that I have and people that given me, and I don't, I inherited from my mother. Sometimes you need to kind of like, do I really need all? Get creative. Just so many things you can do and just get creative with stuff.
Wow. Wow, wow. So, ladies, if you have any more questions, you can now ask Janet Taylor before we wrap up our live broadcast. But, Janet Taylor, how can we get in contact with you? What's up? What's new with you? I know that we're in COVID, things have changed. And also, the final question I wanted to talk about the trending factors that you're finding with a lot of women that you've worked in the past when it comes to organizing their life and really getting them back on track. If anything deal with emotional baggage or anything that deals with the holding on things, whether through grieving, or what are some things that you're finding as a trending factor?
Well, I think with a trend is that I'm noticing people really want to visually see stuff now. I worked with a client and I told her, I said, what the best solution for you is to really get rid of all these doors on these cabinets in the kitchen, because that way you could see everything and we could set it up. But also a trend is within closets and the closet design, bling is in. I mean, I saw, and this was all before COVID, I saw some beautiful bling on doorknobs and trimming of closet doors. It was just beautiful.
Wow.
So it was like a dream closet for a woman. But I think a lot of times it's just the permission to let go with women. And sometimes it's just having, whether it's a good friend or an organizer that you can confide in, who will say, you know what, it's okay. It's okay to let go of these t-shirts that you haven't worn since eighth grade and you haven't seen that boyfriend since eighth grade. It's okay to just let the t-shirts go.
Or that love, or that love
Yeah.
letter, that love letter
Or
since eighth
yeah, the
grade.
love
Now,
letter. The love,
so
yeah,
you're
yeah, the
married
love
now.
letter. Or yeah, yeah, it's like, get rid of, let go of that stuff. But people can always find me on my website, which is janetmtaylor.com, or they can, follow me on Instagram, which is Organizer Janet. And just, know that, again, 80% of the stuff we keep, we never reference again. We wear 20% of our clothes 80% of the time. So it's time to just go in and just get rid of stuff. Even if you get rid of a couple items, just make room. Because in this season where we were, social distancing, self quarantining, a lot of that stuff we were like, and we may never even wear again, because it's like we have a different mindset. I know I have a different mindset after all of this of my stuff. It's like, I need to downsize a little bit more myself. So.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Great information. Well, Janet Taylor, we have wrapped up our time here. And ladies, if you want to get in contact with Janet Taylor, she's already shared her information, but you can see it below it again at www.janetmtaylor.com. You want to check her out. Knowing that she has the greatest podcast. Yes. I had the honor to be featured on her podcast a few years ago. On top of that, there's so many great guests that she brings out as well that has great formula, reset plan, whatever to organize your living, whether relationship. I mean, she talks about it all because it really about the total organized life. And here at Bold University, that's what we do here with coming on with our Reset for Women broadcast. You're going to see some guests, some new faces coming up, and some great treats for you. On top of that, I can't wait to bring the Reset for Life team because we got a lot to talk about. So we have one more question. Love it. Thank you. All right. So how does one not get overwhelmed when transitioning from one phase to another? I guess.
Okay. So
Thank
I'm
you.
thinking probably I think probably maybe from one project to another, one area. So basically what you do is, not to get overwhelmed, is number one, just move from my studio to a one bedroom apartment, and writing down how to go about cleaning it is daunting. Okay. So what
Hey,
you should do is you should just take an area at a time. And I would suggest you focus on your bedroom first, because that's the place where you need to get your rest. You need to rejuvenate. So making sure you just set up your bedroom. And when I say bedroom, I'm meaning your bed and what that looks like. So focus on that. Then once you do that, then you can focus on your closet and how those clothes need to be organized. Then you may want to do your kitchen, or you may want to do your bed first and then do your kitchen. But it all depends on what is important to you. But just do one area. Just focus on one single. Don't worry about what everything else looks like. but really focus on that bedroom first, because every time you have to focus on another area. At the end of the evening, you want to go in that bedroom, you just want to just have your downtime. So maybe your bedroom and your bathroom, because then after that you can have a nice little bubble bath or a nice hot shower. But those two areas, because when I move, I always make sure, for me, my priority is always my office, because that's how I generate my money. So my office gets set up first. Next thing after that is my bedroom. Then the next thing after that is my kitchen, and then whatever else. So you just kind of prioritize what needs to work for you. But I definitely, since you're getting overwhelmed, do that bedroom and that bath. So those are your girly places, and you can just go and relax. And then it'll give you the energy and everything you need to go and work on the other places. And congrats to you for moving from a studio to a one bedroom. Congrats.
Yay. Woo. We are making transition here at Bold University. And as women, we're always aging. And I think this is such a great time to talk about organizing now, whether you're in your 20s. For those who are watching and don't know my story, I was 28 years old at the time when I was laying down on the floor asking God to fix my unbalanced life, because I got sick, I was working, and different things was just taking place in my life. And I had to take grip of my life. So I quit my job. And now I am taking back my life day and day. So this is why we do this at Bold University. We want to talk about the whole woman, Janet, here. And I'm thanking you so much for joining our live broadcast here at Reset for Life, Reset for Women. And we are excited that you're here. And we want to bring you back on again, because we're going to talk about something else later on, because there's so much information on there. So can you share them your podcast as well? How can they listen in for those who are driving each and every day and want to get that information on you? How can they find your podcast?
Well, you can go directly to my website at janetmtaylor.com, and then there will be the link to the latest podcast. So it's called Got Clutter, Get Organized. And as Latoya shared, it just gives you an opportunity to hear from different guests like Latoya on how you can really organize your life. It's just about the
Yeah.
home and the space. It's about life, organized living. And thank you, Latoya, not only for this platform, but just for allowing me to share today. I just greatly appreciate it.
Well, I greatly appreciate you. But everyone, tune in next time, where we are on the mission to come on here monthly to start talking about some great things on how you can live better and how you can reset your life. So always know that you can reset here at Bold University. That's what we're all about: improvement, changing your life from where you are to where you desire to be each and every day. So ladies, I will see you next time on Reset for Women broadcast. Take care. Say bye, Janet. To our viewers.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.